It's time to reveal the people behind your problem. This entity subverts your mind and that of your children to create a certain outcome, although to your detriment. Here's how they operate. They don't need to tell you what to do. All they need to do is to introduce a certain kind of belief system. As a consequence, you produce the desired outcome. To your detriment in this case. Mindsets are like softwares. They're like programming. I know this statement has become ubiquitous across the internet. Oh, mindsets are like programming. They're programming us to behave a certain way. But what does that mean? A step back would be, I did a study on welfare recipients, and a staggering statistics showed that welfare recipients are 2 to 3 generations behind. I used to think, or I used to believe rather, because I don't think, I believe. I used to believe that welfare recipients were in this position as a consequence of the absence of material things like inheritance. But that was a very optimistic answer, if you like, because the cause of this effect is not just because of the absence of things, but they've sustained a wrong programming that causes them to perpetuate that condition. For instance, their mindset, the way they relate towards money. Money is scarce. Rich people are bad. Do you believe us to be good people? Yes. Then we are poor. So therefore, every single person that is good is poor. So anybody who is rich, he had to cut corners. He had to throw someone under the bus. It's impossible for you to become rich. Majority of you have sustained a wrong belief system up until the point that you do not believe that you can be successful. Majority of you want to get a job, you want to be successful, but you don't believe. Like, this thought process of you being a success is unfathomable. Yeah, sure, you might follow the crowd and pretend that you are going to be successful, but the truth is, if you get a job and a comfortable house, you are perfect in that situation. You don't want nothing else. Not because you're a bad person, not because you don't have the potential to drive forward, but because you sustain the wrong program that underutilizes your potential. Take for instance, if I'm driving my Ferrari through Dubai, I have to observe the 35 km/h speed limit, of course, right? But that same Ferrari has the potential to accelerate at 150 mph per hour. Does it stop it from having that potential just because I decided to observe the law? Of course not. So it's the same thing with you. Just because you've decided to stoop to that job, just because you've decided to become small, doesn't take away the potential. The people behind this wrong programming are whom I refer to as the princes. The princes of this world are an entity, if you like, organization of people who create these wrong systems and structures to subvert your mind, to poison the innocent mind of children. Back to the initial discourse when I said mindsets are like softwares. If I pick up my phone and I click on the on button, it would activate the device. Irregardless of who takes that action, it reproduces the same result. My phone doesn't go, you're not Master Ifani, I refuse to turn on. As flattering as that would be, it's impossible. It never happens. Extrapolated down to your own life, you sustain the wrong set of belief system, and irregardless of your persona, whether you're a priest, a devoted child of God, a pious man, it's irrespective of your status, towards society, it reproduces the same outcome, although to your detriment. Now, anytime you feel lazy, anytime you feel like getting out of bed late or not doing that thing you're supposed to do, I want you to feel the urge to resist the programming of the princes. Years ago, I used to wonder, why am I this intelligent and I have zero money in my bank account? When I began observing my actions, I discovered very quickly that whenever I do something positive, whenever I do an actual work, as minuscule as it is towards society, I would feel this dopamine charge and excitement such that it takes me away from the place of work to comfort. Day after day, not understanding that I have sustained a wrong pattern that keeps me in this loop of misery. Now, there's something I did which I want to share with you. I'm about to introduce a solution on how to take your power back from the princes and the elements of this world. The first thing to do is, one, to begin observing your patterns, how you approach life, what you do on a day-to-day basis. You say you want to achieve this result. Objectively analyze the actions you've been taking towards that step. You will discover very, very quickly that every action, perhaps most of you have not been taking action. All you've done is to write things that you will do and talk about the things that you will do. But talking about it doesn't mean doing it. Doing it is doing it. Nothing substitutes for action. Action is action. Whenever you feel the need to log into that sinister website, whenever you feel the need to beat your meat or jerk off into a socks, whenever you feel the need to do any heinous activity, I want you to look at yourself through my eyes. Imagine the contempt I feel just by watching you merely exist. Understand that this is the programming of the princes. All these actions are not of your own devices. You've been programmed like that phone to turn on anytime anybody clicks you. All you need to do is not to try and stop someone from turning it on, is to change the programming such that when the princes hit that button, it doesn't evoke a response. And you can go further if you want to be cheeky. If you want to be cheeky with it, you change the programming such that once they click the button, it evokes a positive response. Now that will piss them off the more. Observe your patterns, change your programming, find the mindset that aligns you towards your goal, and you'll be fine. And as always, my friends, it's a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.